What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Wisdom Walkers podcast, where I am your host, Javante Blackman. To remind you, this is a limited series podcast from my new book, Walking with Wisdom. And I'm excited because I got my boy, Mr. Dan Davis, the second on today. What's going on, bro?
Nothing much, man. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for reaching out to me, and I'm ready to talk about wisdom, dog.
Let's do it. So, I got a question for you, bro. And this is you my guy, so I got to come on. I got to ask you this before a icebreaker question. Give me your top 5 best rappers dead or alive.
Wow. Oh man, I'm gonna hurt a lot of feelings because Tupac not on there.
This your list, though. This your list.
It's my list. All right. In order or just
it can be random. It can be random.
All right, random. All right. Kendrick Lamar.
Okay.
J. Cole.
Okay.
I gotta throw some CHH in there. Lecrae okay. For sure. KB.
Okay.
And J. Monty.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm with it. All right. Okay. That's a dope list. That's a dope list. So for people who don't know what CHH is, I got a lot of people who kind of just new to the whole broad stream of Christian music and just, what our faith actually, brings to the table. Share a little bit about that, bro, because I know that's a big area for you.
Oh, yeah, man. So CHH is Christian hip hop, and it started in like the late, when did it start? It started in like the late 80s. One of the first groups that pioneered Christian hip hop is trying to think of the name of the group. Cross Movement. There we go. Cross Movement. They were like one of the first, and they were out of Philadelphia and like the New York area. They talked about they were like heavy on theology and stuff like that. Then that kind of spawned into Lecrae and 116. And then they went out, and then it went out west, and then you had like the Tunnel Rats and all that. That's the history of it. Now you got all over, mainly Florida. It's crazy. Florida got so many Christian rappers. Like that's like the hotbed right now. I'll say Florida and Atlanta. But yeah, it's Christian hip hop for sure. And I have a radio show where I play Christian hip hop music, so we'll talk about that later on. But yeah, Christian hip hop.
Most deaf, man. I think a lot of times, most of our guests only know Christian hip hop from Kirk Franklin or Lecrae. You know what I'm saying? The closest thing we get to CHH is GP. Are you with me? Right. Having a little fun with that. But nonetheless, man, like it's a big industry. It's a blessing to have that genre of music associated with our faith, man. It gives us definitely a good vibe to get away from, the whole secular world and actually get some positivity within our ears, man. And I think that's dope. But nonetheless, let's lock in, bro. Let's lock in with the questions. Let's
go.
So question number 1 for you is a question that I feel like I'm going to ask every guest that appears on my show. What does wisdom mean to you, and who is the first person that comes to mind when you think of wisdom?
Okay. Wisdom to me is multi-layered and definitely multifaceted. I think the first thing that we think about when we think about wisdom, we think about like intellectualism, where, this guy's book smart, he knows a lot about a lot of things. But that's only a little bit of what wisdom is. You also have like practical wisdom, which is like common sense. And then you have godly wisdom, which in the Bible talks about the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge and wisdom. So
absolutely.
I would say that wisdom is very important, but we also need to think about the 3 layers of wisdom, not just book smarts. Because I ain't gonna lie, I used to be one of those guys that was like, this guy is so savvy, he's so eloquent with his words, he must be wise, and they're just book smart. They don't really
Right.
They don't have wisdom in any other area but the books.
Yeah.
And then to answer your second question, first person I think about with wisdom, I would say somebody that I've lived with personally is my grandpa. Rest his soul, Daniel Williamson. I lived with him in Tallahassee from 2007 to like 2010. He ended up passing away in 2017, but he was real wise and he didn't really need to say much. It was more so in his actions. But whenever he did say something, it was like kind of profound. A great example of this would be I was dating this girl in high school. We probably had only been dating maybe like a month. And me and my grandpa went to the store and I was in my phone just texting and all that. And he was like, "Hey man, get off your phone. Like, you know, older people they don't want you in your phone. They don't want you in your phone like that." So he was like, "Man, who you talking to anyway?" I was like, "I'm talking to this girl and you know, we've been dating for a month or whatever." And he was like, what did he say? Does her shoe size fit? I didn't know what he was talking about. I was like, I don't know her shoe size. Like we just started dating.
Right.
He broke it down. He was like, it don't matter what the shoe look like. We all want nice looking shoes, but they need to fit. So does her shoe size fit? And I ain't gonna lie, I sat there just saying, "Oh, like, dang, I don't know. It's only been a month, but we'll see." We ended up not working out, but hey, that. But I always kept that question in my head whenever I was in the dating world. Like, does this person fit? But yeah, definitely grandpa, man.
That's raw. That ooh. OG spit some power with that one, bro.
Yeah,
that's raw.
Hey,
I love the fact.
One more thing.
Go ahead, bro.
Before he passed, he actually passed away January of 2017. And I got to see him at the nursing home. He had started going through dementia and stuff like that, real weak. But bro, I don't know where this came from. He used to be a pastor too. I forgot to mention that. But he like grabbed my hand and he was calling me Bubba, which is my uncle that passed away. But everybody says that we look alike. But he like grabbed my hand and he was like, "Don't ever let your mind get weaker than your body." But the way he grabbed my hand, he was so weak. He was so weak and feeble, skinny and everything. But the way he grabbed my hand, bro, he grabbed my hand like he was in the prime of his strength. And he was like, "Don't ever let your mind get weaker than your body." And I was just like, that's something else that I keep with me. That's something else that I keep with me, God.
That's that. Oh man, you ready to take notes, bro? Because that's no OGs and people neglect the fact that, man, having older people, the elderly in our lives is a blessing, bro. Like, it takes strategy by God to place certain people in your life. You know what I'm saying?
1,000%.
And for you to have that at a very, very pivotal time in your life, especially like in your imprinting stage, when it comes to just like you developing as a man, and then being able to get, you know, towards the tail end of his life, just that last little nugget, God has something for you, bro. Like, you know, that's what's up. Like, it's amazing. And I love, you know, the fact that you also understand the multifacets of what wisdom is, because it's not just intellect, right?
Yeah.
It's very, very biblical when we think about it. It's the one principle that God uses time and time again, whether it's in the creation or in the development. Right?
Yeah.
And whether it was, you know, him creating the world and how we see it today, the heavens and all of that, or how he developed certain people and the strategy that he associated with, you know, making sure that whatever he created became what he wanted it to be.
1,000%.
And that's really what wisdom is. And so it kind of just coincides with the fact that you see your grandfather as, you know, somebody who embodies wisdom or personifies that principle for you, because he was very, very, you know, crucial and critical when it came down to your development as a man. And like, that's real dope. You know, I can't say this enough, man. My old girl is who I see when I think of wisdom. She is the perfect personification of it. And I don't use that term in terms of flawlessness, but in terms of completeness, like the Bible talks about, right? You know, like my mom from head to toe, she was and is still to this day, man, just a voice of reason. a
Mm.
voice of logic, a voice of, really, really making sure that the knowledge that you have is applied the right way.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that means the world to me. So let's go into question two, bro. Let's go into question
Okay.
two. Describe some of the darkest times in your life and the wisdom you applied to make it through them.
Wow. Wow. One story that comes to mind is when I was in the military. I was in the military for 5 years, and I had every intention on going ahead at least doing 10, but my end goal was 20. Um, Before I joined the military, I was like, I guess you can call me like a Jesus freak. Like I didn't cuss, I didn't drink, I didn't smoke any of that. Soon as I got into the military, I started getting around the wrong. I don't want to say wrong people. I think genuinely at heart they were genuine good people, but we were all confused. We didn't have the right. We knew who the guy was, but we didn't follow that.
Gotcha.
So in the military, drinking every weekend, going crazy, cussing like a sailor, all of that. And I will say that meeting my wife, even she wasn't in the military or anything like that, but meeting my wife was, I feel like God showing me that you need to go ahead and the writing's on the wall. You need to go ahead and bounce from the military. So I was going through like depression, all kind of just all kind of like spiritual attacks, and I truly believe that God placed my wife in my life at the time. We were just friends, but that was like um, she was a voice of reason. She always used to speak to me, speak wisdom into my life, and like you probably shouldn't do that. Give me like tidbits of advice. Didn't take it at first, but it took me a while to come around. But I would definitely say that the last 2 years, more specifically in the military, were like the darkest times of my life, and God placed God always God always kind of steers you in a way, like you'll be doing something wrong and you'll know that it's wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but you'll always come back around, especially if
Mm-hmm.
you're chosen by Him. You'll always come back
Yeah.
around. So I think like
Facts.
there was like a unspoken type of wisdom that came whenever I did something wrong, and I knew I was doing something wrong. So yeah.
Man, that's dope. Like, I think a lot of people don't understand how dark some valleys are.
Shoo. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and even the people closest to you, they just want to understand them. And it's
Hmm.
no knock to them. It's no knock to, their love for you. They very much do love you. It's no if they do, right?
Right. Right.
Um, but certain things only you and God understand.
Yeah.
And he's very, very intentional about who he places in your life during certain
Hmm.
seasons. Like one of the scriptures that really got me through when I lost my mom was, Psalms 23. And I know that's very, very cliche, but um, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, right? Your
Yeah.
rod and your staff, they comfort me. I used to just read that out of habit because it was something that I saw as a kid, right? You gotta learn the 23rd Psalms. If you don't know that, you ain't really no Christian, right? You ain't no church boy if you don't know that, right?
Right. Right.
But nonetheless, man, when I got older and I really started to break that scripture down, when I was kind of just going through my own battles of depression, um, I understood the power of the rod and the staff.
Mm.
The
Mm.
dark valleys place you in situations where you find yourself doing things you never thought you would do.
Woo.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it may not be the most demonic thing ever, right?
Right.
But
Right.
you think different. You
Hmm.
don't think high of yourself. You don't think high of your situation. You don't see yourself in a positive light, and so you invite any and everything around you, not necessarily so that you can indulge in it, but it just it's around you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
man. I'm sorry to cut you
you
off, but
good, bro.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
I just thought about this. Like, um, wisdom is needed, but a lot of times it gets blinded by pride. So
for sure.
when you get down in that valley, you have to be there because that's the only way you'll see that you'll see God for who He is.
Yep.
When you're at the when you're at the mountaintop, a lot of times, and one saying that I don't like is when somebody say I'm self made, I got it out the mud by myself. Like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. Like, you didn't. So, but
Nah,
um,
bro.
but I say that to say when you're in that valley, like God is placing you there,
Yeah, for sure.
and that's His wisdom. That's His wisdom saying, "Hey, look, I'm gonna go ahead and put you down here because I want you to know that you can't do none of this without me."
Exactly, bro. Exactly. And that's what I learned in that valley of depression, bro. Like
Yeah.
in the book, I talk about how God took me through a period of gutting. And
Mm,
I used to work for this water restoration company. I was working as a mover, but we got
okay.
contracted to do this job for a hurricane. And so hurricane season had hit really, really bad around Pensacola, Destin, and all that kind of stuff. And so we went over there, and man, these beautiful beach properties, bro. I'm talking like $1 million homes, 3 floor stories. They got elevated. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
These people have to have their houses gutted, right?
Mm,
Because the water damage behind the walls and behind the scenes are just terrible. And you would not imagine how ugly that process is just looking at the house on the
Ooh.
outside, bro.
Yeah.
And a
Yeah.
lot of times, the deep things that we go through, nobody can see. Like I was saying earlier, nobody can see what you go through. Like
Hmm.
nobody can tell you, oh, like you're hurting in this area, or this is really, really got you out of whack. It's
Yeah.
underneath the walls of who you are
Yeah.
that the real damages are seen. And God strategically places you in valley so that He can gut you.
Yep.
And He does it in such a humbling way, but pride will eradicate the wisdom that you receive. You know,
Hmm.
it'll block that out, and you be like, dang, like, nah, I'm straight, God. I don't need this. I'm better than that. The whole time, like, nah, listen, trust me, I gotta
Yeah.
gut you, and I gotta do it in a way that's not pretty. I
Yeah.
gotta scale you back in a way that's not pretty. And only the people who I've placed in your life for the long haul will understand that. And I
Mm,
think the beautiful part about your story is the fact that your wife now was a person who was in your life while you were being gutted, and she didn't judge, she didn't, leave or just find you in a disgusting manner. She understood that that was a very, very crucial and important part of who you are and what God has you on, and it is going to make you a better man, the man that you are today. And I think that that is so dope, man. I think that's
yeah.
so dope. And I think that God is very, very, like I said, He's intentional when it comes down to really making sure that we got the people in our lives during that gutting season because it's ugly. It is
Hmm.
very, very ugly, but it's necessary at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
we need it. You
Hmm.
cannot become who you are. You cannot be guided out of the darkness if you're not willing to be gutted.
Right.
And you have to be gutted, man. Like,
Hmm.
it's very important. All right, let's keep it going because we getting into the good stuff now. All right,
Yeah.
question 3.
Okay.
Your relationship with God is something that I admire, right? You have a very, very great relationship with God, man. I mean, just outside looking in is very admirable. Is there any aspect or attribute of God that you personify that may help you get through some dark times?
Hmm. Um, that's a really, really good question. Okay. So one of the fruits of the spirit is long suffering. God is long suffering. He can you hear me? Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so one of the fruits of the spirit is long suffering. God is long suffering. He's been long suffering with us ever since the fall of Adam and Eve. He's given us
Right.
time and time and time and time and time again to come back to him. And I think um, what I try to personify with long suffering is knowing that every relationship that I'm in, whether it be a friendship, a relationship with a family member, friend, my wife, it's you have to be in there for the long haul. You have to be able to persevere through whatever adversity it is, if you want them to be there for the long haul. So I think I try to practice long suffering. I'm not gonna say I'm perfect at it because I'm not. There are times where I let my pride get in the way, and I'll say some things that I'm not supposed to say, that I'll be thinking. But I think long suffering is definitely something that I try to personify every day. Like I'll have friends that they're Christians, but they're more like, I call them like cultural Christians. They do they believe in Jesus, but they don't. Their life doesn't look like it. But I try to be like, I try to be that long suffering friend, that the person that you see overtly, who I am is a reflection of God, and it's not my doing, it's the doing of the Holy Spirit that works within me. So I think long suffering is definitely something that I try to personify each and every day.
That's one of the most interesting fruit of the spirit I've ever come across, bro. Like okay, real deep revelation here. You know, so
Okay.
I'm about to get personal.
Go
So,
ahead.
a couple months ago, I started really like taking healing serious, right? It was like, I want to say October of last year. Might have been November. It was November. So I'm big on my conversations with God.
Yeah.
And one of the times that he and I were in conversation, he showed me a garden of
Okay.
trees. And there were different trees. And these, I can't call fruit like that, but these were trees with fruit on them.
Gotcha.
And I'm walking through this garden. I'm like, okay, God, I see that tree. That tree different from that one. This one looked like an apple. That one may look like a little apricot. You know, just different thing I'm noticing, right? And he was showing me the different fruit of the spirit. And one of the things that he relayed to me in that conversation was, I'm going to grow for you a garden of the fruit of the spirit.
Wow.
And it's going to take some time. It's going to be something that you're going to have to be intentional about being a good steward over, right?
Yeah.
But you need all of them, right? You're going to need all of these fruit if you're going to live a successful life, if you're going to be who I called you to be, and do what it is that I want you to accomplish.
Right.
And I was like, okay, fruit. Dan, I'm not a fruit guy. I personally, I don't like fruit, bro. And it's no knock to any fruit. I'm just getting into smoothies. I'm gonna break it down for you. I need you to understand something, bro. I don't like fruit, Dan. I don't. It's not my thing. I'm the closest thing to fruit you're gonna get out of me is some raisins, right? I'm just to be honest with you. Like I said, I just got into smoothies. I want to say about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Wow.
But I understand the value of it, you know?
Yeah.
And long suffering has always been one of those fruit that it's kind of like a banana to me. The fruit I hate the most is bananas. I can't eat nothing dry, fried, nothing about banana. Hear me out. Hear me out. Before you crucify me.
No, you good.
Hold on. The banana is such a necessary fruit.
Yeah.
But to me, it just does not taste good.
So you the type of person that like banana pudding without the bananas in it.
I don't even do banana pudding, bro. This is how deep this anti-fruit thing goes for me. I'm not doing none of that. I'm just being real with you. I'm sorry, bro. So blame my mama. Don't blame me. This is how I was raised, you know? But I think about that aspect of just, making it personal and personifying different principles of God, right? Long suffering is one of those things that may not taste good, but it's so necessary. Long suffering is proof of love.
Yeah. Yes.
It is proof that love is present. It's proof that love exists. And one of the things that I tell a lot of people, especially within the last relationship that I was in, I say love is a verb. And it is not something that you wake up and do out of habit. It's something you wake up and do out of choice. And choosing to love includes choosing to love in the suffering of it all. And God's proof of love to us and our proof of love back to him is how we suffer, And suffering don't have to be so deep and dark all the time. Suffering just
Right.
may mean a season of
You're
lack.
not getting
Can
what you
you
want.
right, right.
Yeah.
A season of sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
And so all of those um, um, ideas or adjectives, man, go along with long suffering, but they also go along with love. And
Yeah.
if you really, really love yourself, we're gonna make it very, very practical. If you really, really love yourself, then you have to allow God to walk with you through your long suffering.
Mm-hmm.
If you love God, you're gonna have to suffer long for a little bit. And
Mm-hmm.
again, it may not be dark. You just may have to go through that season, like you said. You ain't getting what you want, or it may not look the way that you thought it would look.
Exactly.
But will you still stay committed?
For sure.
Will you still stay and stick around through the long suffering? And when you find that in yourself, when you find that within a person, when you find that within your community, it's a blessing. And I can truly say that I have a community of people, man, who have stuck by me through the long suffering. And they've shown me that, man, no matter what, bro, I got you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the principle and kind of just the gist of this book is understanding that the first person or first principle that should that you should hear that from now as after you decide to get up from whatever pit you were in, whatever dark place you were in, is wisdom.
Yeah.
Wisdom is always saying to you, hey, I got you.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be pretty. It might hurt a little bit. It ain't gonna be easy.
Mm-hmm.
But I got you. I will not let you fail because I've been sent on assignment by God to make sure you get up and you walk along. And that right there is, man, I'm excited for the world to see and get that message because it's an important. And that just leads us into question 4, bro. You're also married and a father before 30, which is that's lit. Don't let nobody tell you it ain't. That's lit. That's lit. And that's very, very dope to me, man. So as a man, how much do you value the wisdom that your wife brings to the table for you all's family based on her life experiences?
How much do I value it? I think in thought I value it. In practice, it may not look like I value it. And I would say again, pride is that blocker. I think as men, we're taught to be independent, to think for ourselves, to make our own choices. And then when you invite somebody into your life to relinquish that and to acquiesce to, well, we should do it your way. It's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow,
Yeah.
especially what'll really hit your pride and hit your ego is when my wife tells me to do something, and I think now I got the answer. I'm gonna do it this way, but her way ended up being the correct way, and then now I'm sitting here with the poo poo face, like dang man, I should have just followed. I should have just followed what she said, you know.
Right. Right.
Case in point, prime example. I got so many stories. But I think let me just tell you the story. So a couple years ago, I think we were probably in our first year of marriage. Yeah, first year of marriage. And I needed some new glasses. So I just got this job, got some real good insurance. Yeah, man, you can go to the eye doctor, get whatever glasses you want. They're not gonna cost that much. I never really had like insurance as a civilian before, so I didn't know like about you have to only pick from this side of the
Yeah.
glasses. You can't go over there to the Gucci and nothing like that.
Right.
So she told me before I went to the appointment, look, they're gonna try to sell you on some glasses that don't fit our budget right now.
Mhm.
There's a website that you can get the same frames for dirt cheap compared to what you would be paying there. So I'm ingesting. I'm like, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll just get my prescription and upload it to the website and get the glasses that I want. So go to the eye doctor, get my eyes dilated and all that. They sit me right in the glasses room with the sales rep. She comes up to me, hey, what type of glasses are you looking for? I was like, I ain't really looking for nothing. I mean, I'm just gonna go online and get these glasses. She's like, oh yeah, I see the website that a lot of people use that website, but It only comes in like 3 to 4 weeks. You can get these glasses in 7 days.
She's so on the time.
So what type of glasses are you looking for? I was like, well, I'm looking for the Malcolm X, the Ray-Ban. Man, she pointed them. There they go right there. Oh man. Oh man, put them on. So I'm putting them on. I'm like, man, by any means necessary.
By any means necessary.
So, man, I ended up buying the things. Got home, I was like, yeah. She asked me she told me to call her after the appointment. Call her after the appointment. Mm-hmm. So, did you get any glasses? Everything in me wanted to be like, nah, I ain't gonna get nothing. Yeah, I ended up getting these Ray-Bans. Well, how much did you spend on them? I was like, man, $200. She was like, damn, bro, you know what bill what bill that could have been? Yeah. So that whole month we was trying to catch up with with the phone bill. Should have listened to it, man. I should have listened to it, but I didn't.
I feel you.
Yeah. But see, I didn't want to go through that suffering of having to wait 3 to 4 weeks. I wasn't practicing long suffering in that aspect.
So you pride said, let me get these glasses today.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Or 7 days.
Right.
Let me not listen to wisdom that my wife clearly has. Because she she not only come with the idea, but she come with a route. Hey, go to this website, do such and such, and you're gonna be straight. I'm telling you, I got this. Nah, you all right? Yeah, babe, I got you. And then you go into 200. I get it. I get it. So that is probably one of the things that, as a man, I recognize that we got a lot of pride, and
for sure,
anybody who knows me knows that I'm very, very selfless. I'm a lover boy. Then I feel you, dog.
I'm in the CLB camp too. I almost got the heart part. But I was like, nah, let me go and get the straight line. Yeah, I got you.
I feel you. I've been certified for some years now, Dan.
Same, dog.
And I have had the pleasure of, dating some very, very intelligent women. And they all, they come with their own receipts of why they are intelligent. They have some wisdom on it too,
Yeah.
I'm a man. At the end of the day, I got my ways and I'm learning. Don't get me wrong, I am. But one of the things my mom really sat me down and taught me about was how to love a woman. And one of the things that women value the most is being listened to.
Mm-hmm.
Can't not just hear them, but can you listen?
Yeah.
Like, do you listen? And as a man and as a leader, you think that submission should work one way, but it's a two-way street.
Right.
And nothing humbles you like doing it the wrong way and having to suffer long for no reason. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, even though, at this time I'm not married, so I don't know what. I don't have your problems. I'm looking forward to being married one day. I really am, but I don't have married people problems right now. It's just me and Jesus right now.
Right.
And one day I look forward to having that journey to go on with somebody. But nonetheless, man, wisdom is. I'm in a relationship with her right now.
Yeah.
And the thing that I love about this relationship is that I have to submit. In the book, I talk about how God showed me what discernment is. And a lot of people think discernment is, I know everything about what's about to happen. It's almost like I can predict this, so I know how to handle this situation. That's not what discernment is.
Yeah.
Discernment is wisdom's ability to trust you to apply her. Is she invited into this space with you? Can she sit at this table and show you this person, this experience, this opportunity for what it really is? And you know how much and where to apply the knowledge that you have on the inside of you.
Yeah.
It's a two-way street. It's a two-way street though.
Yeah.
Not only does she have to trust you, you have to find confidence in her presence with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And as a man, and that's a big challenge that I have in the beginning of this book. I challenge men to see wisdom as a woman because it's going to help all of us love the women in our lives a little better. Whether that's your mom, it could be your wife, your girlfriend, your fiance, your little boo that you're thinking about dating. Who knows? You feel me?
Right. Right.
It's gonna
Right.
help you though. It really will help you understand how to have a relationship with the woman and how to have that in a way that is individual and personal to you.
Mm-hmm.
And um, it's so good, bro. It's so good.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect when it comes to listening, but I do hold the women in my lives, their opinions, they're very, very valuable to me.
Yeah.
I'm one of those dudes, man, that really, I learn a lot from women. I sit back and I be watching, like,
Yeah.
from the way that they take care of themselves to the way that they, are with their finances to the way that they handle the very, very small details of life.
Yeah.
There are a few women that I can sit back and I admire who they are and I keep them very, very, very close to me. And
Yeah.
I ask questions, I study them, but I also study not just them to make sure I have a better relationship with them, but I study them to make sure that I can learn from them, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And it is very, very important to me as a man, a grown man. Like I'm 100% a man, you know what I'm saying? It's very important to me that I do that because I feel like it's just necessary.
Yeah.
All the game I got was from a woman, you
Mm.
know. Like my mom taught me how to shoot a basketball.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
how deep it goes. And for a lot of people who have had the, I guess, pleasure, I don't know what to call it, but I can hoop.
Yeah. Okay.
I can
Okay.
hoop. You know what I'm saying? So hooping has always been a part of my life. But for the introduction to the game to come from my mom, man, everything else from how to tie a tie to how to change a tire to how to treat people, how to
Mm.
love God, how to pray, how to have faith. Like all of those very, 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 very big gems of game came to me from a woman.
Mm.
So now, like in my mother's physical absence, I'm blessed to still have that kind of like habit of learning from women.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's important to me, bro. That's very, very important to me. All right, let's keep it going, though. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. I think we're down to our last question. In my book, I describe 3 attributes of wisdom walkers, right? So there's strategic or strategy, there's patience, and then there's intentionality.
Mm.
Which of those 3 do you think best describe you?
Wow. Hmm. Strategic, patient. What was the third one?
Intentionality or being intentional.
Intentional. Man, that's a tough one. Mm. Again, I'm not perfect in all of these. I'm not perfect in the one that I'm going to say, but I'm going to go with intentionality. I'm gonna go with
Okay.
intentionality.
Okay.
I try to, and I kind of, in a sense, I kind of tie intentionality with strategy. If
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense, like you
Mm-hmm.
need strategy to be intentional.
Right. Most definitely.
Or no, vice versa. You need intentionality to be strategic. Especially with planning and things like that.
Yeah.
But
Facts.
I try to make sure I'm intentional about everything, from the posts that I put on social media
Mm-hmm.
to how I love my wife.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I remember she told me that she loves flowers. So not to
Mm-hmm.
toot my own horn or nothing like that, but I try to make sure that she has fresh flowers every week. So
Good
every
man.
Friday I pull up, got the flowers. You know what I'm
Good
saying?
man. Good man.
uh,
Good man. Good
uh,
job, bro. Good
I'm
job.
trying. I'm really trying to be intentional with my son. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know his personality per se yet, but one thing I do is like um, in the morning I'll hold him. We'll look in the mirror, and I'll be like, "Who is that?" So he knows who he is. Like, who is that? And I'm like, "Is that Makai? Is that Makai?" He'll just start laughing. His mom, she does the "you're handsome" and all that. I don't want him to get the big head, but I don't want to get the big head, but I look in the mirror like, "Oh, who is that?" And then he started laughing like, "That's Makai, right?" and he's just cheesing. So I make sure to do that. And I know once he understands language and stuff, then I can really start pouring in those words of affirmation for him, so he knows who he is, not only who he is, and who he comes from, but whose he belongs to. He's a son of God. So, I try to be intentional in those areas. With my friendships, I know I need to do better with them. I know I need to do better. I'm trying to juggle this whole fatherhood, husbandhood thing, but I know I need to do better with that. That's why I say I'm not perfect with intentionality, but I would say I try to be as intentional as I can. But yeah,
I feel that, bro. And intentionality is everything.
Yeah.
The word of the year for me is intentions or intentionality. So every year at my birthday is like a new year. And I pray that whole week, and I say, God, okay, what's the word? What is your actual words to me? And then give me one word to live by. Yeah. And the word that I've been living by since I turned 26 is intentionality. Just being more intentional about who you are, what it is that you need to be doing, what it is that you need for yourself, who you need to have around you, the relationship, all of that. Like, just be more intentional. And intentionality is everything. And so the reason why I have that a part of the book, it's the third part of the book for those of you who will get a chance to read it. Once you decide to get up, those are the three principles that you need in order to make sure that you move forward. You need strategy. You need to be patient. But more than anything, you need to be intentional. And you can't have one without the other. Even though I do say you need to be intentional more than anything, the three work in harmony, right? Yeah. And if you are going to go from crawling to walking into the destiny that God has so beautifully designed for you, you're going to need to be strategic on how you're going to get there. You're going to need to be patient in the waiting season. And there's a way that God has shown me how to be patient, and I can't wait for people to read that. Yeah. But you also are going to need to be very intentional, because it's not a walk in the park. It's very, very simple to get up and walk again, but it is not easy. And a lot of times we confuse the two. We love simple. A is A, B is B. But we have to understand that simple is not easy. Okay. The two are not the same, bro. They are not the same. So that's one of the things that I'm excited for, getting the people to see. So you're a guest on the podcast, and of course you're gonna get your author copy, and I can't wait to get that to you. But tell me one thing that you are looking forward to reading about in this book.
I think I'm really interested in how you personify wisdom as a woman. Because I mean, you know, there's a scripture in the Bible that wisdom will be proven right by her children. I know that thoroughly, but like, how does that apply to my life? Like, how do I treat wisdom as a woman? I'm really interested in learning your strategies on how to treat it as a woman, and how that manifests in my personal life with the women that are around me. I'm highly, highly interested in reading that part, for sure.
Listen, man. Can I give you a flowers, bro? I'm from the Muck, so Fred Taylor is like the GOAT around here, and Freddie T always giving out flowers. So man, your family is so dope. Like, you really come from good stock, bro. From that, your brother Nari, shout out to Nari. That's my dog. To your sister Kamara, sis, I love you. That's all love to your mama, Mama T. You are the GOAT for real. And I'm excited because you come from good stock. I know you're gonna value what it is that God has shown me and I put in this book, bro. For real, 1,000%. Like your family is dope, and it is just a blessing to connect with you as a brother now, because it's dope. You know what I'm saying? And I'm grateful for that. I can't wait for you to read this. You're gonna get all that you're looking for in terms of the personification of wisdom. I think you'll enjoy it, and a lot more, because not only do I tell you who wisdom is and how you should see her, but I pray that you learn how to do life with her. And it's not weird. It's not, sensual or anything like that. It's very, very practical, man. It is very, very real. And you're going to see that it won't take away from anything. It won't detour you in any way. It's gonna add to your life.
Mm.
And if you can just hone in on the fact that this relationship that I now know exists is something I need to spend time with, what God shows you on how to move forward with wisdom is going to be a blessing that blows your mind.
Mm.
It's going to blow your mind. Bro. So
That's right.
that concludes episode 3 of the
I
Wisdom
got
Walkers
a
podcast.
question for you.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, bro.
So you said you who?
I
You
hope.
said you who?
I hope.
Actually, I got 2 questions for you.
Go ahead, bro.
Who
Go
are your
ahead.
who are your top 5 basketball players of all time?
All time. Okay. Ooh, I'm gonna make a lot of people mad, but everybody knows my heart. Number 1 on the list, the GOAT that will forever be the GOAT is LeBron James.
Okay.
Hands down. Hands
Okay.
down. Hands down. Number 2, right underneath that is Michael Jordan. Of course, I
Okay.
gotta show respect to MJ. Number 3 is Mamba, Kobe Bean
Yeah.
Bryant. Number 4, and we're just going like dominance, right?
Yeah.
Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal is the most dominant big man to ever grace the planet. I really do wish a lot of big men would take more from Shaq's game because he's the GOAT in terms of being a big man.
Yeah.
And number 5, and this is just me out of bias, Allen
Okay.
Iverson. Allen
Okay.
Iverson.
Okay.
AI, I'm a little guy, right?
Okay.
And the crossover was the first move I learned out of memory, right? So my crossover to this day is I got something for you, but AI is heart over hype mentality, man. It's always something that helped me as a youngster. It's something that, I've had the pleasure of coaching and teaching other young men about. And it's something that I take with me in life.
Gotcha.
He's a dog. And that dog is now honorable mention. If I can do that, honorable mention. Steph, just because Steph is the greatest shooter to ever live, and then Damian Lillard because Dame is my favorite point guard of all time, hands down.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
And there's a lot of players I've had the pleasure of watching, and I've admired growing up. But Dame Dollar is something serious. Dame is the truth. But yeah, those are my guys right there.
Okay, I love the list. I love it. We're a little iffy on the GOAT, but I used to be on that wave. I used to be LeBron the GOAT. I don't know what happened in me. I started watching Jordan highlights, and then I watched the doc, and then I was like, whoa.
It happens. The Last Dance definitely was an eye opener. I ain't gonna hold you
because that was before my time. That was way before my time.
You feel me?
I was a baby.
I was born in '96. So when he was 3-peating, I was just coming out. You know what I'm saying? So I understand, but run different.
I got you. I got you.
Run different.
I got you.
But that's my guy though. That's my guy. Go ahead.
Okay. I also love the mention of Shaq. Me and my wife, we I don't know if you've seen his doc on HBO Max.
Not yet. I need to dive in.
Man, I done watched it once. It's 4 parts. I'm watching it again with my wife because she thinks that Shaq is trash. But it's just because of the free throws. It's like you can do everything else, but no. I mean, every player has a weakness. Anyway, this is not a basketball podcast.
I love the game, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. I love the game.
Same. And then this is my last question.
All right.
Who are your top 5 rappers of all time?
Ooh, I'm gonna get in trouble. So, oh man, Jay-Z. This is in no particular order, so I don't want to throw nobody like. I'm a huge Hov fan though.
Okay.
And when I think of this question, I don't think of like just one era, right? I try to show love to all eras, right? So Hov, you have J. Cole, you got your Kendrick, Drake is on that list.
Okay.
I just can't name 5 though, man, because I'm a fan of music. Especially just rap, hip hop, like it's so that's 4 right there though.
Yeah.
Hov, J. Cole, Kendrick, Drake. Oh man, Nipsey Hussle.
Okay.
Nipsey Hussle. Like Nip is a beast,
Yeah.
and I enjoy and still to this day enjoy listening to his music because
Mm.
it's deeper than just culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like there's a message behind it all. And if you ever
Mm-hmm.
sit back and just really learn, like and try to listen to it, in one of his songs, he like, decoding the matrix is how he put it.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Nip, ooh, man, if I had a rapper I would love to have a conversation with, it would probably be him.
Mm.
Not on some like, show me how to become the next best rapper. Nah, man, just like minded, kindred spirits,
Yeah. Yeah.
Very, very, just a good dude, solid dude, very, very solid. Um, and I've learned a lot from just interviews and listening to his music. So those are my guys. Now, my favorite rapper of all time is Wale, and I couldn't put my boy
Bro,
on
I
that list.
love Wale, dog.
Man, that's
Oh
my
man,
guy.
I love
That's
Wale.
my guy.
I
That
think,
is
and I
my
think
guy.
for me, it's I'm a writer at heart. So to be for us to be connected, and you've written multiple books. Like I'm definitely gonna pick your brain about that. But I'm like a writer at heart, and
I got you.
poetry was what started me
Yeah.
into the writing. So like Wale is that dude, and he's so slept on. That he is so slept on. We always talk about the three-headed monster of this era or of this past era. Never mentioned Wale. Wale, man. Yeah,
He gets so slept on, man. And
for
there's
sure.
so many other artists, bro. Like I'm big on the whole MMG. So I'm a Ross fan. I'm from South Florida, so I'm big on Ross. You know what I'm saying? I've grown to love Meek as a rapper. He's just a phenomenal artist. Everybody got their feelings about him, but
Yeah.
Meek, I'm a fan.
To me, so I no knock on me,
Uh-huh.
but I was a big Ace Hood fan, and to me, they kind of got the same delivery. So
I get it.
I was a big Ace Hood fan.
I get it. I get it. Meek kind of, in a sense, the conspiracy theories are out there. But Meek replaced Ace Hood in the sense of MMG. But we ain't gonna get it in there. We're not gonna get it in there. But yeah, man, I'm big on it all, man. If we go on CHH, Aaron Cole.
I love Aaron Cole. Aaron Cole is dope.
Beast.
Dope. Yeah.
Lecrae, obviously, 1K Few. The whole 116 is just phenomenal, man.
What up, RG?
Trip Lee for me is
so back in the day when I first started hearing CHH, I thought it was lame. I didn't really like Lecrae like that because he used to rap on rock beats. But Trip Lee was kind of like Trip Lee kind of reminded me of like a T.I. almost.
He did. He light skin with the low cut with the season.
Not even that, but just like his delivery. He like he country.
Yeah,
he's Southern.
Facts.
So like
Facts.
He was like, and that was back when I was like really into T.I., Wayne, Jeezy, and all them back in the day. So
I got you.
Trip Lee was like he was really who got me started on CHH for real.
Listen,
but yeah.
Trip. I used to have a CD. I go back that far. That's my guy. Man. That's my guy. But nonetheless, man, Dan, I appreciate you, bro, for joining the Wisdom Walkers podcast, man. This has been a pleasure. You have no idea.
Same.
And for the listeners out there, make sure you go grab a copy of my new book, Walking with Wisdom, which will be available on Amazon and Audible on May 14th this year, which is right around the corner, man. I'm super excited about it.
That's like 2 weeks, 3 weeks away.
Listen, we own it. We own it, man.
Wow.
God be all the glory be to God.
For sure.
We are locked in forever, bro. I just need you to know that.
Yes, sir.
And to the listeners out there, make sure you stay tuned because the Wisdom Walkers podcast is back. God is good. Testimony coming soon. Testimony coming soon, man. But nonetheless, man, I appreciate you guys for listening. Dan, I appreciate you for joining. And until
do you mind
next time,
if I tell everybody about Overt FM?
Go ahead, bro. Please. It's slipped my
Okay.
mind. Go ahead,
Oh, you
real
good? You
quick.
good? I got a radio show on.
Yeah,
This is an app called Amp. You can also pull it up on the desktop. You don't need the
absolutely.
app per se, but I have a radio show where I'm on Tuesdays at noon and Sundays at 8 in the morning. Tuesdays at noon, you're going to hear an hour of CHH music, Christian hip hop, and you're also going to hear Christian R&B music. I know you might not know what that is, but trust me, it's some dope artists. One of my favorites is Stevie Rizzo. Anyway, Sundays we're gonna go into gospel. We playing Maverick City. We playing Kurt Franklin throwbacks and new stuff. So yeah, man. Tuesdays at noon Eastern Standard Time, and Sundays at 8 a.m. So yeah, Overt FM.
Most
FM.
def. Listen, this radio station has gotten me through some very, very difficult Tuesdays. So I need y'all to lock in with my boy. Like,
Yeah.
It's worth it, man. Conversations are always good. The music is always dope. But more importantly, man, just getting yourself in an atmosphere of worship. That is not your traditional hand clapping, foot stomping church. You know,
Right.
A lot of times you need to break away from tradition and just get into the true essence of God. And whatever that looks like for us is very, very personal. And Dan provides an atmosphere for that, and I'm grateful for it, man. And that Sunday morning ride to church be lit because his radio station is something I can plug into the car and, give my playlist a break and just see what it is that, God in placed on his heart to share with us, man. So it's very, very dope. Make sure y'all check that out. Again, that's Overt FM. It's on the AMP app by Amazon. AMP, AMP. Very, very simple download. And check his radio station out because it's definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. But yeah, man, we locked in, bro. So until next time, everybody, I appreciate y'all for listening. This has definitely been a pleasure. And I can't wait to see and hear from you guys soon.